Hi guys. So I've made some really good advancements today. Big thanks to the Reddit community. Once again, I'm going to link the Reddit forum in the description. Someone posted a link on there to an article about vulnerability, and I discovered that there are three different areas of vulnerability, and those are social, emotional, and physical. Now, those might be a bit self-explanatory, so I may not need to explain them to you. But social is basically, from my understanding, is talking to new people. Emotional is expressing your true emotions and opening up. And then physical is, doing something risky. For example, jumping off a ledge, and then potentially hurting yourself or whatever. And so I think it's really important to establish which of these areas you're least, advanced in. For example, I would say I'm pretty good at being physically vulnerable. See, I do sports, I'm a cyclist, and it's something I've done for many, many years. And so I do bike racing in particular. And bike racing is a very, very dangerous sport. You're in close proximity with people, and, a slight error from anyone can end up with you being on the ground with, road rash and broken bones and all that sort of thing. When it comes to physical risk, I'd say I'm pretty good. But when it comes to emotional vulnerability, I'm terrible. Now, I'll tell you a quick story from today. I was at a cafe and a really beautiful woman sat next to me. And I expressed my emotions to her for the first time pretty much in my life. I've told someone that they were really beautiful. And if I'm honest, it felt amazing. And she turned out to be a person who works on emotional well-being. So yeah, she gave me a bit of insight and talked to me. And it was great to sort of push that boundary. And so now that I've established that my emotional vulnerability is the area I need to work in, I will now strive to push myself daily by being more emotionally vulnerable. Physically vulnerability, not so much. What's the other one? Social vulnerability, actually, that one I'd say a bit as well. I'm able to talk to new people, but I'd say it's an area which I could still have some development in. So I'm just going to give you 2 tips today. And the first one is going to help you with physical vulnerability. Now, this is a trick I used to use a long time ago when I used to go to college. And the trick was to do something which put me in a physically vulnerable situation. And it wasn't risky, really dangerous or anything, but it was very minor, but it worked. So on my way to school, there would normally be bollards on the side of the pavement, and those are like those little things you see along there. And I tried to jump on one of those bollards. Now, the potential risk there was me falling over and, hurting myself or whatever. And that's the physical vulnerability element. Second of all, if there were people around, then that would be embarrassing. So not only is that physical vulnerability, but it's also social vulnerability, because you're putting your ego on the line, essentially. So a lot of social vulnerability is about accepting rejection and, not being afraid of what might come if something doesn't work out. So doing something like that, trying to jump on a bollard, especially if there are people around, is a really good exercise. Or, trying jumping onto a bench and then leaping off it, things like that. My second tip is taking a cold shower in the mornings. Now, this could start off from having a cold shower at the end of your regular temperature shower, or it could be jumping straight into a cold shower. Now, that's another method of pushing your physical vulnerability and really seeing how strong you are mentally to be able to just put yourself into that situation. The more you practice those sort of actions of vulnerability, the better you'll be when it comes to the real life situation. And just try this one thing. Try taking a cold shower for a week straight, and then see how easy it is to tackle vulnerable situations in real life. For example, let's say you're not a guy who normally talks to random people. Try this exercise of taking a cold shower every morning for a week, and then see how you feel at the end of that week when it comes to talking to a new person. That's your challenge, guys. I hope you enjoy. I'd love to hear from you in regards to your feedback, and of course, please join us on the Reddit forums. There's a great discussion going on there, and I will link it at the bottom. Until next time, goodbye.